That's why I'm asking this question to us about what our thoughts are about transgenders participating in female sports. Transgenders participating in female sports. Just recently, the federal court said that transgender athletes are protected by Title IX of the federal court rules. We don't debate that human beings are protected by certain titles in the federal court rules. We don't debate that at all. So don't think that that's ever a debate. It's not the debate at all. I think the question on the minds of so many people today is, it fair for transgenders to participate in female sports? Is it fair? And with all due respect, I will say that I don't think it's fair because male, are genetically stronger than females. And therefore, if a male is to become transgender, transition to transgender, and participate in a female sport, with his strength, his might, that female has no chance. That's the case that happened when the transgender athlete won on the track and field. How was the females to compete with this male strength when a male is genetically stronger than a woman? So I'm open for comments. I would love someone to let me know what they think about this subject. And I ask that you share out my live feed, because maybe you have no opinion in it. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. Maybe you have no interest in this topic, but there's so many people who do, especially parents who are sending their children to school, who are involving their children in school sports. I'm sure that a lot of those parents are concerned with this topic of transgenders in sports. Is it fair? Is it a fair assumption that transgenders should be given the opportunity to participate in female sports? I'm open for comments. I'm open for other people's opinions, their outlook, and things of that nature. I just want to know, because I'm curious to know what our people think about, because we're not taking away from, we're not going against the LGBTQ community. We're not putting them down. We're not ostracizing them. We're not demonizing them. We're not disrespecting them in any way. We're talking about transgenders in female sports, because I believe it was last year when they opened the bathrooms, the school bathrooms, for transgender youth can go in either bathroom. Transgender youth can go in either bathroom, school bathroom, right? Public bathroom. And there was a lot of outcry about that type of ruling, that a transgender person could enter into a female restroom. A lot of school students spoke out against it and spoke out a bit against it because they said it made them feel uncomfortable. It made them feel uncomfortable because the person, in some cases, they say the transgender student was their friend, but it didn't make them feel comfortable with having their transgender friend in the bathroom with them, with their other female friends. And that's a reasonable concern. It should be a reasonable concern for any parent. That should be a reasonable concern for any parent, and that should be reason for any parent to speak out, speak up. Whether you support it or whether you don't, speak out, speak up. Because silence is not going to help the situation out. It's not going to make it better. And in fact, it's going to make it worse, because this means that silence is like tacit approval. We have to speak up and speak out. Say what our opinion is. Stand on what we stand on. Because otherwise, there's going to be some discrimination going on, and it's going to be taking place on our watch, whether we are for it or against it. But it's important that we stand up and state our position. I know that this is not an old sweet topic that many people want to talk about, because, you know, over the last 10, 20 years, 30 years, a lot of our family members and friends have come out as being gay. And some of us were shocked, and some of us were in total disagreement and in total disbelief and confused. Some of us did not want to accept it. Some of us accepted them with open arms. So it's been a challenge for, I want us to imagine, in all fairness, I want us to imagine what that transgender is going through, to be under such scrutiny in the public's eye. I want us to imagine what those school students are going through. Those young girls who happen to wrestle in rings and fight in rings and run up tracks and play on soccer fields and then swim and all of this against their transgender friend or transgender other student. Imagine what our children are thinking on both sides, whether your children are in agreement with or a part of the LGBTQ community, the transgender community, or whether they're not and they disagree or agree, whatever the situation may be. I want us to think about what our children, what's going on in their mind. What's going on in their mind? See, I noticed that not one person has commented or given their opinion on this subject. It's like we are ashamed to speak about things like this because we don't want to lose a friend. We don't want to offend anyone. I'm going to say this. If the words that I say when I clearly states that I am not trying to offend anyone, I have no disrespect toward anyone, I respect people for the choices that they make, whether I agree or disagree with that choice, I respect it. I'm not here to demonize them on either side. I'm not here to scrutinize persecute, or anything on either side. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to invoke thought. I'm here to incite conversation. I'm here to get understanding because I don't know. I come on here oftentimes because I'm trying to learn something. If I can't teach you something or I can't learn something from you, then there's no reason for us to even come together. There's no reason for us to ever try to have a conversation if I can't teach you something or I can't learn something from you. So again, I'm on here because I wanted to talk about this subject. It's deep to me. It's deep to me because it seems like every day something else is coming out about someone is disagreeing with the transgender athlete in this sport or that sport. And it's really taking shape. People are taking sides. People are taking sides on this issue. And I understand. That don't mean I agree, but I truly understand people are taking their sides because you have so many youth in school who aspire to be great athletes. And these young girls, they already got it bad. Let me say this here. Women in sports already got it bad. They're not being paid right. They're not being acknowledged. They're not being honored the same way men are honored or boys are honored. So they already got it bad, very bad. And they've had it bad for many years now. So now, realizing that how bad women have it in sports and in all areas of life, but I'm talking about sports right now. Just speaking of how bad that women have it. Women are not even held in the same regard, the same respect as men in sports. We know they're not paid. For example, I was just thinking about how the young lady coming out of college, Angel Reese, they was talking about how over, I think, a 5-year period, a 3-year period, or something like that, she will make a whopping $300 and some thousand. Superstar athlete. Her only drawback in the eyes of the sports execs is that she a woman. So here it is, a male can come out of college. While he's in college, he can make hundreds of thousands and possibly millions of dollars. But here's a superstar athlete, enters the female WNBA, and she receives a whopping 300 and some thousand for her career for 3, 4, 5 years, 300 and some thousand. I want anyone to fact check me. I want you to go back to Magic Johnson and see how much his contract was worth when he signed with the Lakers. I believe it was 1981, 82. I'm looking it up right now so I can make sure. Look up his contract and see what he was making coming out of college in 1982. Magic Johnson's original contract. And I'm going to tie this in. I'm going to tie this in. Because Magic Johnson First contract with the Lakers was $460,000 per year. Now, keep in mind, Magic Johnson came out of college and started playing for the Lakers. And I'm looking it up, y'all, because I just want to be on point. I think 1982. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. Magic Johnson signed a 25-year deal. He signed with the Lakers back in 1984, which would net him, which was worth $25 million, $1 million per year. After his first initial contract, he signed a 25-year contract with the Lakers, which expired 2009. So 84 to 2009 was 25 years for Magic Johnson. His contract was worth $25 million. That means $1 million a year, right? His first contract coming out of college was worth $460,000 just for that year. Here it is, a female athlete, superstar female athlete. They give her $300,000 for 3 or 4 years. So my point is that women are already behind. Women are already behind in sports, in business. They're coming up in business though, because there's no masculine strength. Islam, there's no masculine strength, physical strength being exuded in the executive world, in the business world. But where there is brute strength being displayed in sports, women are so far behind men. It's unfair. It's unfair. You think of Angel Reese, superstar college athlete. Now, let me look up. I want to be for sure when I talk to y'all about this. I'm going somewhere. Angel Reese contract. Now, Angel Reese is signed a 4-year, $324,383 contract. 4 years. Her contract is worth $324,000 for 4 years. Superstar athlete. 4 years. Her contract is only worth $324,000 for 4 years of her life. But here it is in 1982. Magic Johnson signed a contract with the Lakers for $460,000 a year. That was in 1982. He was making more in 1982 than Angel Reese is making 42 years later as a superstar athlete for 3 years. Do you all get what I'm saying? If I'm saying something wrong, I need somebody to talk to me. Angel Reese, a superstar college basketball player, was just selected in the WNBA draft. Her first contract, 4-year contracts she signed for $324,000. 4 years. So that's roughly speaking, 4 years is roughly speaking, she's making $80,000 a year. She makes $80,000 per year. Superstar athlete. In 2024, this young lady, superstar athlete out of college, makes $80,000 per year. 42 years ago, Magic Johnson, superstar athlete, came out of college and his first contract that he signed was $460,000. 460. That means he's making 6 times more than Angel Reese as a superstar, a female superstar athlete. He's making 6 times more than Angel Reese. 42 years ago. This man, these men are making 6 times more than females in these sports. That can't be fair. 42 years ago, excuse me, 42 years ago, Magic Johnson signed his contract with the Lakers that was worth $460,000. 42 years ago. Fast forward to 42 years later, Angel Reese, superstar athlete, talked about on every news station in the sports world. She come out of college, signed her contract with the WNBA for approximately $80,000 per year. How could that possibly be fair? So you telling me that here's a superstar female athlete, she's only worth $80,000 per year, but this superstar male athlete is worth 8 times more than that? Well, 6 times more than that, because he was making $460,000 a year. Impossible. That's impossible numbers to me. The math ain't mathing. That's how far we put down women. That's how much we don't consider the woman in sports and in business. But I'm talking about sports right now because that's the hot topic with transgenders entering female sports. And now it takes me to the mindset that transgenders in female sports, there's no equality there. Because as I just stated, Angel Reese, a superstar athlete, is only making $80,000 a year compared to a male athlete 42 years ago who's making $460,000 a year. His first year, rather. The next year, he was making $1 million a year, which makes that 12 times more than Angel Reese is making. And the guys coming out of college today, come on, they making like 20 times more than what Angel Reese is making today. So now, is it fair to allow men, transgender male, to participate in female sports, considering that the women in these sports, these young girls in these sports, these young ladies in these sports are already so far behind and being discriminated against based on their gender? They're already being discriminated against. So is it fair to allow transgenders to now participate in female sports, knowing that these transgenders are stronger, faster than these women and these females, these little girls? Is it fair? I'm open for comment. I'm waiting on somebody to talk to me about this. Let me know if I'm reaching. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know. Somebody I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna wait. I want somebody to talk to me. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. I'm waiting. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know. I'm right here. Open for comment. I don't have all the answers. I'm looking for them. I'm waiting. I'm patient. Talk to me, y'all. What you think about the topic? Do you agree? Disagree? Do you understand, or are you confused? Or we make it before we see it. You take it. Come on, y'all. Make me want to holler. We got to stand up. This is me. We got to stand up for these women and for these little girls who don't even understand how many women have marched, fought, and lost their lives for women's rights in America. Sky high. To that. Listen, y'all. Listen, all I'm saying is this here. I noticed that no one has commented at all. I have not received one comment on this subject. And I know just from walking around and being around people and being in multiple places that everybody got an opinion about this subject. I've heard some mothers and fathers who say, hell no, I ain't gonna have no transgender boy in the bathroom with my daughter. I've heard parents talk about they're gonna protest if the school ever allow a transgender student to participate in sports that their child is their female child is participating in. I've heard parents talk about they will file a complaint with the school the first time they find out that a transgender boy was in the girl's bathroom and the school allowed it. I've heard all of these conversations and complaints and issues and talks. I've heard all of this. So I know that this topic resonates with somebody on this feed. If it don't resonate with you, I'm asking that you please share out the feed to someone whom it may resonate with, because this is a conversation that must be had. This is a conversation that I think that we shy away from because we don't want to feel like we shaming someone. I think that we have to stand up and accept responsibility for having a mature conversation, having a much needed conversation. We have to have the conversation because our children deserve us as the grown-ups to step up and have the conversation because maybe we can learn something and pass it down to them. But for us to stay silent on such an important conversation is not beneficial to our children or to our community, nor is it even beneficial to the LGBTQ community. Because with all due respect, a lot of those transgender young men, some of them are confused as to why people are against them playing in sports and against them going into the girls' bathroom and against them participating in things that's usually attended to by women. Some of these transgender children are our children. And if we continue to live, we're going to see more of our children find transgender as their identity. That's just the reality. And if we don't begin to have a conversation when it comes to mixing with transgender, mixing with females and entering females' bathrooms, female sports, and female arenas, we do a great disservice. Again, I'm not for transgenders being in boxing, any sport, any female sport. I'm just not with that, because I understand that we have brute strength as men. Women do not. And therefore, we can overpower women almost at will in most cases. And therefore, it's not fair to put a transgender male on the basketball court with young women, young ladies, little girls. It's not fair to put a transgender boy or man in a sport such as boxing with a woman. Such as boxing. Imagine that. Imagine a transgender man, 180 pounds, 190 pounds, gets in a boxing ring, female boxing ring, with a female, and her weight, more than likely, her weight will not match that transgender person's weight. But still, that transgender is in that ring. And that transgender is in that ring to win the fight. Do you think that that transgender is going to hold back his strength en route to winning that fight against that girl? Think of that. Think of that transgender boy or man who's in that female wrestling ring. And we know that in real wrestling, the chokeholds, the full Nelsons, the kicks, the punches, all of that is real. This is not WWE entertainment. So imagine a transgender individual engaging in a female wrestling match. I wouldn't want my daughter in that match. I wouldn't want my daughter in that match. I wouldn't want my sister, my cousin, my female friend, my granddaughter. I wouldn't want no female that I know to be in that match with the transgender man. That's not taking nothing away from that transgender man. or boy. They deserve to be respected too. They deserve the respect that they deserve. And it wouldn't be right or proper to not accord them the respect that they deserve as a human being. But when it comes to transgenders participating in female sports, knowing that the female is not going to jump high as that male. So who's going to be the star of the team? You have this superstar female who's on this team, superstar female. She's been a star all year long. Colleges are looking at her. Teammates look up to her. And then you have this transgender individual who joins the team, and he got some game. He's going to take all the shine away from this young lady who historically are already far behind men in sports when it comes to strength, when it comes to pay, when it comes to opportunity. And now here comes a transgender male pushing that woman further back, blocking that woman off from great opportunities. Think about that. I sit here and wait. I want somebody to comment, somebody to talk to me, somebody to tell me something. I know somebody got a comment. Might want to say something. Let's get it off your chest, y'all. Get it off your chest. Don't be scared to express yourself. This topic here really, I don't know if it scared people or it disinterests people. And I'm pretty sure it don't disinterest people because people talk about it all day. That's why I've been in the news every single day. So listen, y'all. Listen, y'all. Do you agree with transgenders in female sports? Simple question. I want somebody in this thread to tell me if you agree with transgenders in female sports. Anybody within the sound of my voice, I'm asking you that question. Do you agree with transgenders in female sports? I'm waiting, I'm listening. Let me know some, y'all. Anybody within the sound of my voice, my question is, do you agree with transgenders in female sports? That's my question. I want to know what your thoughts are. I already told you my thoughts are. I wouldn't let my female child play in no sport with a transgender, in no competition, because there's no competition. That little girl cannot defeat that little boy. That young lady cannot defeat that young man. That woman cannot defeat that man. not when it comes down to strength, physical strength, might. So I want to know what y'all think. Okay, would you allow your child, your female child, to participate in the sport that's being participated in by a transgender youth? Would you want your child in a competition, your little girl, your young baby, in a competition with a transgender youth or young lady, or young man or grown man for that matter? Would you want your child? Is it fair to put your child in a competition, your female child in a competition with the male? Anybody could just put it in the chat. Yes or no? Do you agree? Is it fair for transgender males to participate in female sports? Yes or no? It's a hell of a topic. Hell of a topic. I get it though. Not everyone wants to comment on live feed, but amongst our friends, everybody has a comment. Everybody has an agreement or disagreement. Everybody has something to say about this, because I've been around and I've heard so many comments. That's what made me entitle this show this morning, Transgenders in Sports, Women's Sports. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? We can sit back and allow this to continue. And this, again, I want to add this caveat for those who are just joining. I have absolutely nothing against the LGBTQ plus community. I have no disrespect at all against them. They are human beings like the rest of us. They chose a sexual preference that you may not have chose or I may not have chose. That doesn't make them wrong for the choices they make. I may not agree with it. I may not agree with it. But who am I to tell them that they are wrong for the choices that they make? Because they have to answer to the choices they make, no different than I have to answer for the choices that I make. So I want to clarify that I have nothing against the LGBTQ community. We respect them, we honor them, and to be honest, it takes a lot of courage to even stand up in the face of so much scrutiny, in the face of so much criticism, in the face of so many naysayers, and you stand up 10 toes down and you state your position and you stand on it. It takes a lot of courage. Again, that don't mean that I agree with it, but I understand that it takes courage to stand up in the front of some people like that and say, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. This is my preference. It takes a lot of courage. But it also takes a lot of courage for people who don't agree with allowing their little girl, their young daughter, to be in a competition with a trans male. Take a lot of courage for us to stand up and say, no, I don't agree with that. Because genetically, a male is stronger than a woman. Genetically, a male is stronger than female, period. There is no way around it. That is science. This is factual. I don't even have to say fact check me, because everyone within the sound of my voice and those who are not within the sound of my voice understands that a male is genetically stronger than a female. And therefore, in competition, a male, the presumption is that a male would win in any competition that requires physical strength, brute strength. And therefore, a trans male should never participate in a female sport, because the female is no competition for the male's strength. Swimming takes strength. Soccer takes strength. Basketball takes strength. Football takes strength. Track and field takes strength. Boxing takes strength. Wrestling takes strength. A female has no place in a match with a transgender male. With that, we'll close saying peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. And for those who did not hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message, because someone needs to be inspired.